Picture it, the ultimate Florida dream. You've got the sun-drenched kitchen, that gorgeous, sprawling lanai. But wait, before you get the dream, you gotta get the dirt. Welcome to today's Explainer. We're gonna expose exactly how you can find your perfect slice of paradise without getting completely burned.
So ask yourself right now, where are all those perfect custom lots actually hiding? Because I promise you, you're not gonna find them just casually scrolling standard real estate portals on your phone. The absolute best parcels of land in Florida are literally invisible to the average buyer. They're tangled up in red tape, or they're locked away by owners who have zero intention of ever putting up a traditional for sale sign. If you want to win this game, you gotta know exactly where to look.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Here's our roadmap from the surface down to the subsurface. We'll start with the Florida dirt puzzle, then hunting outside the MLS, the hidden dangers down below, zoning and invisible red tape, and we'll wrap up with the golden rule.
All right, part 1, the Florida dirt puzzle, uncovering the canvas.
Look, the magic is definitely in your vision for the house. But the harsh reality? That's in the dirt. Securing a real piece of paradise means you have to understand a highly strategic approach, because prime land is often held super tightly off-market. It's like a giant puzzle. Before you can even think about picking out quartz countertops or a pool layout, you have to navigate this complex landscape where what you see on the surface, well, that's just a tiny fraction of the actual story.
Which brings us to part 2, hunting outside the MLS, escaping the public bidding war. You see, the standard public market is basically just a trap. It's where land goes to fetch top dollar in these crazy public bidding wars. You've got standard portals, high competition, and retail prices. But then there's the hidden market. This is where quiet networks let you bypass those crowds entirely. If we want to find a true gem, we literally have to look exactly where the average buyer isn't looking. We have to completely bypass that public noise.
So how do we do that? Well, 3 insider methods will get you there. Number 1, infill and teardowns. Seriously, vacant land almost never exists in coveted zip codes anymore, so you actually want to look for obsolete homes to just tear down. Number 2, builder networks. Custom builders usually control this quiet inventory of land that is totally invisible to consumers. And 3, county tax records. If you scour local foreclosures and tax delinquencies, you can uncover amazing parcels way before they ever hit the open market. That's exactly how real equity is built.
Because here's the thing. Working with a land specialist means accessing conversations, not just listings. The very best custom lots in Florida are changing hands in these quiet, personal networks long before an agent ever hits upload on a public website. You need to be in the room where those conversations are actually happening.
Okay, moving sharply on to part 3, hidden dangers down below, the silent budget killers.
I want you to let this number sink in for just a second. $50,000 to $100,000. Honestly, no joke. That is what you might easily pay in extra site preparation before you pour a single yard of concrete. This is absolutely the most shocking reality of Florida dirt. The flat, forgiving terrain you see is a total illusion. The ground right underneath your feet is a silent budget killer if you don't know exactly what you're dealing with.
So why is that number so incredibly high?
Well, environmental traps for one. If you're in a FEMA flood zone, elevating your structure is going to absolutely skyrocket your costs and your permanent insurance rates. And then there's the soil itself. Florida is notorious for high water tables and these deep pockets of organic muck. If testing reveals soft clay or muck, you're looking at super expensive soil remediation or drilling deep helical piles into the ground just to keep your brand new home from literally sinking.
Oh, and we can't forget the wildlife. The state heavily protects species like the scrub jay and the gopher tortoise. Guys, literally a single tortoise burrow on your lot makes that little turtle the true boss of your entire timeline. They can pause your permitting process for months and demand really expensive environmental relocation fees before a single shovel even touches the dirt. Talk about turning a Florida dream into a nightmare, right?
All right, part 4, zoning and invisible red tape. Navigating the bureaucratic maze.
Here's the kicker. Even if the dirt is physically perfect, what you see isn't always what you get. Invisible municipal rules can render a lot completely unbuildable. Things like front and side setbacks totally define your actual building envelope. And hidden utility easements, yeah, running power lines can cost thousands per foot, and those easements could completely block where you wanted to put your dream pool. Plus, you have to prepare for massive infrastructure costs, whether that's crazy high municipal impact fees in the city or strict well and septic requirements out in rural areas.
And hey, if your lot happens to be in a deed-restricted community, watch out. Neighborhood homeowners associations will literally dictate every single square inch of your property. They can mandate minimum square footage and entirely ban certain architectural styles. Like, no way are you getting that modern metal roof if they say so. Never ever assume you can just show up and build your exact vision.
Okay, deep breath. Let's release some of that tension. Because here is part 5, the golden rule, your ultimate shield.
This right here is the single most important piece of advice to keep from getting burned. Your safety net is the feasibility study contingency. Never ever buy land without a 30 to 45-day window written directly into the contract. This is brilliant because it empowers you to bring in the structural engineers and your builders to thoroughly test the soil and dig into the zoning red tape before you fully commit to the purchase.
Why? Because if those site prep costs turn out to be astronomical, or if some obscure zoning rule blocks that beautiful sun-drenched design you've been dreaming of, this contingency is your emergency exit. You can pull the ripcord and walk away with your deposit completely intact. It's that simple. It guarantees you only move forward when the reality of the dirt actually matches the magic of your dream.
So, what does this all mean for you? Are you ready to solve the ultimate puzzle? Don't let these invisible traps catch you off guard. Building a custom home is incredibly rewarding, but it definitely requires an expert eye. Check the link in the bio to connect with a land specialist and start your journey today. Because honestly, the real question isn't whether you can afford the land, it's whether you can afford what's hiding underneath it. Always test the dirt.